There's a lot of stuff on about Revit on my YouTube channel, so FYI. But when you open Revit, you will have this icon, right? When you open it, it will give you a couple of windows. Are you guys there? All there at this point? Am I the the slowest guy? So what we do, I will set up a linked file. They call it linked file for you. So we'll set up the whole linked file. We'll get things linked for you. I do all this. But for the time being, let's go file and have create a new project. Cool? Everybody's good there? Yours is loading. Everybody's there? We're going to create a new project. What I typically, guys, I set all this stuff for you. You have the project created and you start playing with it, but we don't have that time. You're good?
It's
still loading?
And one, it's an upgrade.
Okay. So I walk you through that one. If you guys go to create a new project, yes. So we need architectural, construction, mechanical, browse. One more time. Are you there? Not yet? Okay. So when you start a project, you create a new project, then they will ask you which type of template do you want to use for this project. Obviously, they have template for mechanical, template for electrical, template for architectural. And guess what you guys are? Electrical. So I'll help you if I go there. So
86%. We're almost
86%?
Yeah,
okay. Can somebody sing for us for the time being? I'll get you into the electrical in a second. Right now you don't have electrical, but we browse and we find the electrical setting. Yeah, hold your horses for a second so we can do it together. That's all right. Is it? Oh, you open that one? Oh, you're opening it. Can I close that one?
Oh, you want us to?
Oh, I'm sorry.
You want us to open this one?
Yeah, that's why. Go to Revit. You open a
You
file.
want this one?
Okay, so yeah.
I opened the folder. I thought we opened the folder.
Oh, not the folder? Okay.
Wow.
We're going to get into the folder.
Jeez.
For Revit, guys, so you understand, Revit, when you work with Revit, there are two models. Or there's one model, actually. The architectural model. That will be given to you by the architects. That's what I gave you. This will be given to you by the architects. Your job is not to work in the model. You don't work in the model because we typically don't get it. You have no control over it. You linked to the model. Like we did XREF. Remember how we did XREF? Linking is equivalent to XREF. So we don't open the model yet. So you get there? Okay. So you opened Revit, not the file that I gave you. We're going to link to it. So when you guys go there, we need to open a new project, create a new project. Are you guys all there? So look, your options is architectural, structural, mechanical, none of them. So I'm going to go browse right next to it. And do you see where it says electrical default? When it says electrical default, it defaults you to the electrical settings of Revit. That's all. So instead of readjusting, you could start anywhere, but it's a good idea to start with electrical default. Okay it. And when you guys are good, everybody's good with that, so go ahead and open. So you, gentlemen, you have just opened a new file in Revit based on electrical setting. And it will and it's so important when you open the Revit based on which type of setting. Okay, exactly like the thing that you need to know about Revit, that you are working in a model. So I do have my CAD open here. So if you guys remember when we did the CAD, here's the model space. This is where you do all the cooking and the extra thing, and this is where you print. You print from the page and what's not. So you work here in the model space and you do print in the paper space in CAD. In Revit, you work in this area. This is going to be your all working area, and you print from the same area too. So you work and print from the same area. So the first and the most important thing that we need to do, let me walk you through a couple of things, very important things that you need to to know about. The project browser, that's, you're gonna spend a lot of time in the project browser. Why don't you guys go minimize your project browser like I did right here. Everybody minimize the project browser right at the bottom here. Project browser, gentlemen, is going to say electrical because we defaulted to the electrical. If you're mechanical, it will say mechanical. You defaulted mechanical, guys. The most important thing probably is the electrical. If you expand the electrical, you're going to find the following underneath it: lighting and power. So when you go to lighting, when you're doing lighting for a building, obviously you're going to be under lighting. When you do power for a building, you do under power. What's lighting? Lighting is the lighting fixtures and branch circuits and the switches that comes with it. What's power? Power are your receptacles and your mechanical equipment, heating, cooling system. That's all. So, okay, let's go drill down into lighting. When you go to lighting, guys, there are two levels in lighting. Level number one, electrically speaking, is called the floor level, and the other one is the ceiling level. Now, what does that mean? Revit is 3D. Unlike CAD, when you drop things in Revit, it drop it not only in 2Ds, horizontal, in the X and Y, it'll also drop it in the Z. You're working in a 3D model. You might not be able to see it when you're looking at it from one view, but be aware that probably the major and the most important thing when you move from CAD to Revit is pay attention that everything that you drop have an elevation. So when you send it back to the architects, your receptacle might be sticking up in the air here with nothing in it. Okay, so if we're doing lights and knowing that lights, you're looking at 3D for lights, not just X and Y, 3D. Where do you think I should drop my lights? In the ceiling plan or in the floor plan? Ceiling plan. See how it makes sense? Why ceiling? Because where are your fixtures? Ceiling. What's the floor plan? Floor plan is what you're looking at right here. So floor plan, if I want to put this receptacle here, I put it in the floor plan. Why? Because when you drop it, it defaults to 18 inches above the floor and it puts it somewhere right here. If you don't like it, you can elevate it, take it up and down. So you know, switches. Another thing when we drop this over switches, we do it in the floor plan. You don't put it in the ceiling, you put it in the floor plan. Floor plan means in the floor or slightly above the floor up to typically 4 feet.
It automatically defaults it to the level it should be.
Yeah, if you default to the ceiling, it drops things right
Yeah.
into your ceiling. So the only anything, so you know, when you're dropping things, anything that need to be in the ceiling, make sure you are in the ceiling view.
So like receptacles will be like defaulted to 18 inches and the switches will be defaulted like
42 inches,
48 inches.
unless you're going to do, or 45 inches, whatever that, I can't remember exactly, 42 inches, I think. If you don't like it, you can always change it, but there's default. But the most important thing when you're working, you need to be working in the floor view, if anything in the wall or in the floor, ceiling view, if anything is in the ceiling. What else we could put in the ceiling? How about smoke detectors, right? How about fire alarm systems, strobes? So that's probably, I found it the most important thing for people to get confused with is which view to work with.
And what about like a three-phase coming in? It's
Which
coming
three?
from the ceiling.
Well, for
Will
that
that be
view,
from the floor or
for that view, we'll do floor and we'll offset it
And you'll offset it back
8
high.
foot. Anything in the wall is typically floor. We put it in the floor and then we offset higher. Okay. In the ceiling is what sit in the ceiling itself. Though you can use the ceiling and offset down, but typically we use floor and offset up. Okay, so here's what, so we know what the ceiling and the floor is. It will give you views, guys, lighting 1 and lighting 2. So this means if you have a 15-story building, all one model, you're going to see a floor plan for each one. You will set the floor plan for each one of these floors. 15, you will see 15 lighting here. And 15 ceilings, right? So each one of these, think of it as a floor, the stuff that you have. Okay, so that's for the ceiling and the floor, right? So minimize these. Let's go to the power. The power, the same thing. Under power, guys, they'll give you 2 powers. What are these 2 powers? That could be the floor for the first ceiling and the floor for the second ceiling. And I'm sorry, the floor for the first, the floor for the first floor, and the floor for the second floor. If you have 2-story building, you can also put the roof at 1 power level. So these are the levels that you're dealing with. You also have 3D. You can look at the building in 3D. You're going to look in a second here. Or you can look at the building in elevation, east, west, north, south, and what's not. Cool? So that's most of the time when you guys working with it, you're going to be under power, typically under power and lighting. Any comments, guys? Any questions about these? Yes, sir.
So you're saying the 1 and 2 is just the levels?
Yes, level 1, level 2, if you have. If you only have one level, you don't have to use it. And you can set it also for other things. But typically 1 and 2. Can you guys see schedule? You remember the panel schedule? Look at the panel schedule right there. See that? All these panel schedules? You'll see them right here. These are all panel schedules. When you're running panel schedules, you hit the button, it runs a panel schedule for you, and guess where it goes, drops it, right there. So if you're looking at all these views and looking at here, these schedules, where are they be located? Under schedules. That piece of cake, right? Easy. Easy to find, yeah. Sheets. Now sheets are the ones that you're looking at right here, John. These are what you're looking at. That's the sheets. So when your system is up and running, you're going to find 12 sheets, 15 sheets. Each sheet is basically a piece of paper drawing, like these. And that's what you print. So when you print, you're going to be going at, you can print from anywhere, but I'm talking about the typical stuff. Typically, when you print, you're going to be under sheets. Remember, sheets is where you print your stuff. Pages, yeah. Drawings, pages. Families. In Revit, one thing you have to understand, the difference between Revit and CAD is, in Revit, they call the symbols that I downloaded for you guys, if you remember, they called them, instead of symbols, they called them families. So if you need a receptacle like that boy there, they call it a receptacle family. So get used to the word family, and the family has members in it. And the members of the same family can be slightly different. Like if you're a member of the monkey family, the all monkeys kind of look, generally speaking, the same. If you're a member of the lion family, you kind of have an idea how they look alike. So if you have a receptacle, you have a family, they have different type of receptacles. Same family, different type of receptacle. Same thing, light. Family of light, different type of lights inside that family. So symbols, a family is a symbol. So let's go, guys, quick here and look. You don't have families at the bottom? Do you have any families here? Anybody? Oh, you don't have the whole thing. Okay, view. Go to view. Sorry, go to view. Yeah, anybody else have this issue? I thought it defaulted to it. If I have that, okay, go to view and user interface and make sure these are clicked. Click System Browser, Project Browser. See where it says Project Browser, and you need Property. Did you find them under Views? Got him? Okay.
When you're designing and you have your floor and then you have your drop ceiling, are you doing the measurements from the drop ceiling, or are you doing measurements from the floor?
You could do to drop what? To
How far down that receptacle is going to sit. It's from the drop ceiling. It's so far, or it's so far from the actual floor.
You can do anything what the typical is.
What's the
typical floor? If it's a receptacle like this, from the floor up.
Oh, okay.
Now, can you do it from the ceiling down? Absolutely,
well,
not typical.
You just don't really.
In Revit, you can do anything you want, but the typical is floor up.
Floor up.
To the center, I believe, to the center of that box. Okay, so you guys have this family. Let's just go look at one family, shall we? I don't know what family do you have. Do you guys see annotation? Do you see what I see? I don't know what comes default with you.
Yep.
Do you see electrical equipment? I'm not sure if you see. Okay, click on electrical equipment. What do you see? Do you see dry type transformers? This is a family of dry type transformer. Click on expanded. You can see all the transformers that you have.
Oh, yeah.
Now, does it make sense? These are a family of transformers, different sizes. So when you are working in the field, and if you want to drop something, the first thing you should ask yourself, do I have this family, or do I need to load the family? So to know if you have it or not, you have to come over here and search for it. If you don't have it, they ask you for an auto transfer switch to drop in Revit. First thing you're going to ask yourself, do I have it as a family? Where do you know? You're going to search here. Most of companies, guys, if you don't have it as a family, they have a place where you can upload any family that you want. So, but this is where your first searching point. So here's the family of transformers. Here's Ethernet switches. I think we have the same thing, right? Lighting. Okay, look at this. Lighting and small appliances panel. Here's the family for lighting and small appliances panel. This is all the family. And here's another panel. These are panels. This is 480. Can you see 480 panels? MLO is min lugs only. And this is a family 208 volt MLO min lugs only. There are two different families based on the voltage. And the amps, of course, you know, from 100 amp to 600 ampere. Electrical fixtures. Look at the electrical fixtures. One thing you have to understand, the way they do in Revit, they call the receptacles fixtures. Don't ask me why. I think it's coming from mechanical fixtures. So if you're looking for a receptacle, it's going to be duplicate receptacle. They call them fixtures. It took me a while to get used to calling the receptacle fixture. So here's electrical fixtures. Here's all the fixture that you have so far. You have a GFCI receptacle and a normal receptacle. Can you guys, when I click on standard receptacle, do you see that it's 120 volt receptacle and it's allocated 180 volt? Revit is not only a drafting software, it's also an analytical software. So as you drop your receptacles and you circuit them, it adds up the volt amp. Unlike CAD, mostly CAD which doesn't do that. And it will tell you when you exceed the limit on that circuit. It will tell you you have exceeded the limit on that circuit. Okay? So be aware that you are, when you deal with Revit, you deal with two components that not for the most part in CAD. Number one, an analytical component. You can analyze the electrical circuits there. Tells you what the size of the circuit if you exceed it. And number two, you're doing with 3Ds. You're doing 3Ds. 3Ds and analytical. These are the two major ones. Okay, so these are your electrical. Then after that, you have a lot of other things. Remember, guys, we're in an industry. So here's lighting devices. Switches, can you guys see where my switches? Look at how many types of switch. You have a circuit breaker, dimmer, door. So you're loaded with a lot of stuff. Here's lighting fixtures. Here's a lighting fixture that we have. All the lighting is 121 by 4. Here's 2 by 4, that one right exactly above your head. 2 by 4 fixture. All the families are here. So remember to come over here and look for the family that you want before you go ahead and start with these. Okay, so we got these, gentlemen, with these families. There's a bunch of other things that roof and what's not. Remember, the other thing that you have to understand, everything in Revit is family. For example, that door that you're looking at here is a family. That knob of the door is a family. That window is a family. The wall is a family. Everything in Revit is a family. There are families that we care about and families care less about. The door family, I don't care about. I'm not an architect. The architect love the door families. So when you see families, that family is of everything. So we care about the electrical families, right? So be aware. Mechanical guys have a family too. Here's still.
Are we going to be the ones picking the fixtures, or are we giving them like a list of what they want to use, and
We will be picking, well, depending on the project, but for the most part, we decide on the fixtures, or the architects will tell you what type of fixtures that they want to use. So you will run the analysis on them. You get the Revit model from the manufacturer. And you drop all the manufacturers of fixture, guys, right now. If you go to the website, they will download with the cut sheet. It comes a Revit family. Download the family with it, stick it into your project. And most of the engineering firm has a Revit family of all the major fixtures. But if a special fixture that they want to use, you go all the way, go to the manufacturer of that fixture. They have a CAD model of it, assemble, as well as a BIM. They call them BIM model. They have a BIM model. Telephone. Here's your telephone, guys. All the telephone outlets. Here's so these are the most important things. Now, what happened if your family is not here? Okay, let's go insert. So that's what you guys are gonna do. We're gonna go insert. Can you guys see where it's, do you have the same interface at the top here for the most part? Insert. Do you see where is load family?
Yep.
Okay, go load family. Now when you come here, it opens that window for you. These are all families, believe it or not. I have annotation family, boundary, cable tray, blah, blah. All these are families. Now guess an electrical guy would be defaulting to what? But before you go there though, I want to remind you, you will be in the mechanical family here. Did I pass it? Of course, M comes before S, Chad. Here's your mechanical. If you're looking for chiller, air handling unit, which we don't drop, but if you have to drop something mechanical, you see, you're not going to find it under electrical, you're going to find it under the mechanical. So be very aware of that one. That's mistake number one. I need to drop a chiller, which typically mechanical guys drop the chiller, but if they have not dropped it and you need to drop something mechanical, don't go to electrical. Chillers, rooftop units, all this good stuff under mechanical. Okay, so be aware that there are furniture. How about if you want to put a desk? That desk, everything is family in Revit, and you can drop any family you want. Obviously, we're electrical, so let's go to electrical. When you go to the electrical, gentlemen, there are architectural, and you can click on it, and this is how you go back, right? Everybody can see this button here. You can go back right here, and there's mechanical, electrical, and plumbing, MEP. So typically we go under MEP, but sometimes you find fixtures, electrical fixtures under electrical. So let's go MEP. MEP. So let's go to electrical power. There's multiple options. So when you're looking for things, you're going to dig, basically search for it. Okay, so we're looking at electrical power. Here's electrical power. I have appliances, distribution, generation, and terminals. Okay, let's go under distribution. Guess what? Here's an auto transfer switch family. Here's the circuit breaker switch family. Here's all, can you see all these families? Some of them are loaded for you, others you have to load them. So if I'm looking for an auto transfer switch family, you click on auto transfer switch family and hit open, and gentlemen, you have just loaded an auto transfer switch family. To know where did it go, you're going to go right in here. It should be under the families. Can you guys see where it says R, where's annotation? Did it bring it under? It should be under electrical. I'm sorry, under electrical. And here you go. So can you guys see under electrical? And here's your all auto transfer switch. This is probably the most important thing when you deal with, since it's electrical equipment. So always look under electrical equipment. Not everything will be under electrical equipment, though. Some things you might have to search.
You have to search to figure out where to put it.
No, when you put it, well, most of them are under electric equipment. I should have looked under electrical. 90% of the time is going to be right under electrical equipment. But if you're dropping something low voltage, it's not going to be under electrical equipment. If you're dropping a receptacle, it's going to be under electrical fixtures. So typically under 99% of the stuff that you guys are going to drop is either electrical equipment or electrical fixtures. There's some low, and here's also lighting devices, I'm sorry, and lighting fixtures. These also you will have lights and switches here, and also telephone. And if you have fire alarm system, your drop fire alarm system is going to put it in a different location. Cool. Do you guys know how to load any of these families? So one more time, you go here, load again. Here's family, load again. Go to electrical, and you can go to MEP and connectors. Here's all the connectors that they use. We're not going to get into all these details. Here's information, communication, fire alarm, communication, building control, security. All these are families loaded with your system that you can load directly. Now, if you work for Michaud Cooley Erickson or any of these engineering firms, guys, they have their own families that they either already loaded in the project, or they tell you a destination that you can go there. In order to go to your own destination of families, all what you have to do is come over here and go here, desktop. I can have my own family sit in a location. When you come to me, guys, I have a place where I call them mechanical electrical families. We load a few families that's not in the Imperial Library. So the software come with family, and your company will have its own family. And you're going to basically pick the ones that work for you. Every company take the families that come with the software, modify them, and they make them their own. Okay, cancel that one. So that's how you add a family. A family is a symbol. Cool? Where we add them. Okay, now before we go ahead, now there's nothing here, nothing to work here, right? There's no model yet. We haven't done anything here. Now let's go do something that typically you guys don't do. The project manager will do this step for you, but since you are working, we haven't started, and I do this step when you come for me. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go XREF, do equivalent to the XREF. If you guys remember when we were in CAD, we came here to the model space and we did insert attach, which mine doesn't work here. That's why and you inserted that background. Remember that? We're going to do the same thing, except instead of insert attach, They call them link. Now, what is a link? The architects will have a model in 3D in one location. You will link to it, have a picture of it, you work on it. You can't change the model. Typically, you have control over it. You can work on their model, so when they change things, you can see what they're changing, but you can't, typically, we can't decide which door we're gonna move. So they have the model here, you take a picture of it, you start working on it, and they can see your work, you can see their work. Mechanicals also can coordinate in the same big model. So that's what link is. Can you guys see with link? You can link a CAD or link a Revit. Guess what we're going to be linking? We're going to go link Revit. I'm sorry.
I was just curious, what if you like working in one program as opposed to the other? Can you upload an entire CAD file?
Yes. You see with that link CAD?
That is what
We can link anything. You can link a CAD or Revit. We can insert, import. I use import. You can import any CAD file here and use Revit as a drafting software. No problem.
And now is that like particular, like for example, like one receptacle get lost in translation, will end up 10 feet above where you want it to be? Will that happen sometimes?
Yes. Yes. The beauty of Revit is the 3D. They take, the architects guys take your model after we're done with it, us and the mechanical and the structure and everybody else, and they take it and they run rendering. See that building, that color 3D? That's what they run. And they do walk through the building. So there's software they run walk through the building so they can show the customer how the buildings look like after it's designed, before they design it. So guess what? When they do rendering, they take into consideration the light that coming out of your fixture. So if your fixture is not in the right location, it will show in front of the customer that the fixture is sticking up like this in the air. And how would that make you feel? Not good. So, and believe me, Michelle Cool Erickson have a horrific story when they start with Revit. Their fixtures are sitting in the ceiling, so, and they're running, before they do it to the customer, they typically run it among the groups together. And you, as a project manager, oops, so that's why the issue with Revit is the 3D. You're going to make sure that your things are in the right location in the 3D. Okay, so let's go link that Revit. So link, do you guys remember where we, so come over here and go to a desktop. I think that's where we put it, right? Under Revit. And here's the, before you click, just highlight it. Can you guys see what you see right now? Here's the model. Now, what the heck is that? Somebody, God bless his heart, Neil, built this model for us. Now, in real life, guys, what you're gonna do? Did you find it?
Mine's not showing the model.
It should be, if you just highlight it like this, just click on it.
Yep.
It shows the model. Okay. I wanna bring to your attention, guys, how they label them for the most part. Do you see arc? That's indicating for us that's an architectural model. And dash commercial dash ACN central file, architectural central file. So this is architectural model, commercial project, A for architectural central file. CEN is for central file. That's what some companies do to indicate that this is a central file for the architectural. Okay. So when you're loading and synchronizing, you're going to say something loading and synchronizing with central. You're pulling, every time you hit synchronizing, when you're done with your work, you take all your work and shift it to the central file. We're not doing a central file yet, but we're going to import that one, link to it. Okay, so when you guys go there, here's what you clicked on it. Then you're going to go Auto Central. They have multiple options of doing it. I keep Auto Central here and open. And gentlemen, you have what you're doing. You extract the model. You linked the model to your file. Can you guys see where now it's loading it? Loading the model into your system. He actually opened. He didn't do that. He opened the project. You opened it as an architect. That's what you did. What he did is he opened it as if he is an architect and he's working on his project. We're not an architect. We're linked to it. What you did is right. You could have did all your work right there, but then you're not linking. You're working it as an architect. We're not architects. We typically link.
Well, I was going to say, great question on the CAD and Revit. I know, like, what they do is they actually have two computer screens and they run the project on Revit and on CAD at the same time. So you have a 3D image and then you have a flat screen image and they're like linked together. Or they're doing them at the same time?
Yeah.
Yeah, so both.
How it looks like, and you have multiple views in CAD. Are you guys almost done with loading? It should be. Yep. And it takes long because, and hit OK for that one. And it takes long, guys, because it's a big model. So then click, and here's what you're looking at, gentlemen. Can you guys see that view? This is your model that you're working with. This is your model that you're working with. Cool? Everybody can see that? No. If you have the, okay, here's the wheel. Here's where, can you see that little deal here? Here's where you can zoom. Zoom region, zoom to fit right here. Can you see right here? Or if you have a wheel, you can wheel it and zoom in the area. If you don't have a wheel, that little deal here, oops, zoom, you can zoom region, zoom out, zoom, where's my zoom region? Zoom region is my favorite, like zoom window. And then you can, I want to zoom, can you guys see zoom region? I want to zoom in this, bam, I'm right in here. Zoom region, cool. Huh? You don't have the colors?
Oh, what's going on?
Yours is different? Okay. No, yours is not colored, guys. Some of it are. Does it look different than mine?
I zoomed in on a region.
Yeah, zoom region. Don't worry about it. It has to do probably with the setup that you do. But before you do zooming, can you guys click on that one here for zooming? This is probably the most important thing. Here's zoom to fit, zoom, zoom all, zoom region. Region is the most important one because then you can come and zoom into that, and it shows you this. Let me see what you have there. No, it has some color. What they do?
Mine's like, I mean, this bush is light blue.
Couple cubicles, we got some bedroom.
Yeah.
It's just kind of faded.
Oh, they got a person on the pooper in here. Look at that.
Do they?
Yeah, look, they got a little person there going to the bathroom.
So,
They do.
They do.
so gentlemen, what you're looking at here is a model. So let me let me just go and walk you through this model. I would like you to go to lighting and double click on lighting 1. Lighting 1 is what you're looking at it right here. Can you guys see that? Now let's go to the ceiling. Click on the ceiling now. You have a 3D model. Well, actually, let me show you directly how the model looks like. Let's go into Power 3D. Can you guys see Power 3D? Double click on Power 3D. This is the model that you're dealing with. Power 3D. You have a 3D model. So I have a 3D model right here, guys. Everything else will be, okay, what do I want to see? Do I want to see the ceiling? Then you just look at the ceiling. Do I want to see the floor? Then it cuts it typically 4 feet right here, and it shows you what you're going to see in the floor. So here's your model 3D. You will be seeing different things. Now, this is what you're seeing right now, right? Now, if I go right under floor plan, and I'm going to go to floor number 1. Double click on floor number 1. Floor number 1, gentlemen, will show you basically what you're going to be cutting at. You take this floor and you're cutting at 4 feet. Cut the building at 4 feet above the floor, and that's what you're going to see. Does that make sense? That's your floor plan. That's where you put your receptacles and what's not and all this good stuff. Now let's go to floor 2. Power 2 is set up by, remember when we picked up the default? Double click on Power 2, guys, and see what you get. You know what you see?
Roof.
Yes, you see the roof. So by default, when we picked up the default setting for electrical, remember that? The first floor cuts it at 4 feet, I believe. The second floor cuts it has high to see the roof. So just in case you want to drop a rooftop unit on the roof. Now you remember, all these are changeable, all these adjustable. You can adjust it, you can change it, you can copy it, you can do anything you want. But these are the default that comes. Comes very handy though. Okay, now let's go to the same thing, gentlemen. Let's go to lighting. Let's go to lighting power. Lighting, first floor, same thing, right? That's your lighting. If you go to second floor, Second floor is the same thing. It cuts it for your floor lighting to the level of the ceiling. Let's go to the ceiling though. Cut on the ceiling. This is what you're going to see when you're looking at the ceiling, and believe it or not, it looks the same, but what disappears, it disappears the background and everything else for the most part. If you go to ceiling number two is it takes this building and it looks way higher, and it cuts it way higher here where we don't see anything. How would this become handy if you have a building, a 15-story building? Now you start doing all these levels so you can see wherever you cut the building at different levels so you can see the floor of every story, right? Floor of story 1, ceiling of story 1, floor of story 2, ceiling of story 2, and you keep going all the way up. These are very powerful. Some of them right now for a 1-story building meaningless. They're just sitting there. And just because they're there doesn't mean you use them. Am I making sense? So what you guys going to be doing most of the time is here's a view. In the lighting, this is where you put your lighting receptacles. This is where you're going to put your lighting fixtures, and then you're going to go to power 1, and this is where you're going to put your receptacles. You're going to put your receptacles. Gentlemen, make sense? Okay. Now, there's one little problem there. I want to go to power like I did. I want to do power, but what do I care about that circle here? This is a city property, right? I don't care about the city property. So look what you're going to do. Now you're going to go modify your views so you can print them and show what you want to show. How do you modify your view? The first thing when you get a building is you need the site plan. When you do a site plan, guys, I think we have a site plan somewhere here. When you have a site plan, okay, where am I here? Here you go. Do you see that site plan here? This is here. I'm going to go modify where I can see the site plan so I can put all my outside lights and my outside brand circuits and security lights. So let's go modify the views. So the first thing I would like you guys to do is click on this view, right? View power 1. And there is a, oops, skip a little bit. Okay, no. All right. All right, so here you go. Do you see that little hide temporary? Do you see that little button, the glasses? Click on that glasses. And what? Okay, I'm sorry. Right next to it, crop. Okay, that crop. Do you see that little thing? Hide crop region. Have you guys cropped the picture? I hope you did. Do you know how to crop a picture? If you go any picture, you double click on it, it will crop the picture. Means I care less to see everything else. Just want to zoom right in your face, right? That crop region. Now, double click on the crop region will disappear, right? Click on it, it will appear. Double click on it, it will disappear, right? Now make sure that you have the crop region like this. Would you? So have that line here, click on it. So hide crop region, bring crop region. I need the crop region. Cool? All right, so everybody got the crop region now, exactly like you crop a picture. You're cropping a 3D though. Remember, this is a 3D model. So when you guys, do you see, am I responsible for putting light in this street? Do I care about that street when I do that? No. So I want to go and crop this view to what I want to see. What do I want to see? I'm going to call this is a site. So go crop it. Can you guys say grab and drag? I want to only see this. Can you guys see how then it disappears everything else around it right here. And I'm going to just see the parking lot, right? I'm only interested in seeing the parking lot and maybe up to here. Do you see what I'm doing? I cropped the view so when I print it on a piece of paper, guys, I don't print the roundabouts. If you care about the roundabouts, you at any time you can come back again. If you want to show the roundabouts for whatever reason, you can expand it. Remember, you're just hiding it. You're just hiding it. So typically for a parking lot, guys, and you can zoom in and make it as close as you can to the parking lot limit, because that's what the area that you're gonna be showing. Okay. Then now dismiss here. Remind me. come right here, guys. Right click on the E power here. Can you guys see? Right click on it. Do you see where it says rename it? Rename. One more time. Right click here. Do you see where it says rename? Well, I'd like you guys, gentlemen, to rename it. Now, how do we rename it? What I tell my students to do, this is going to be my site. So erase this one. Do you guys see that? When I print it, it's going to be site plan lighting plan. That's what's going to show. So I'm going to call it, and it's going to be E. Now, whatever E is allocated for it, that's will be given to you guys, the site level E4. So let's just assume this will be an E4. So here's how I do it. So come over here and say, call it site plan, and next to it dash E4.
Where do you get that from? Or where do you put that from?
Right, come over here, right here, right click on it. Do you see where it says name? Do you see where it says name? Rename it, and just call it site plan. And I'm going to call it E. What did we say? Decided to call it E4. Now, if yours was E5, would it make a difference? No. So, gentlemen, now when you're drawing this view in a sheet so you can print it, this view has a meaningful name. It's not just Power E1. Power E1 and its site. So that's so important. Okay, let's do one more view. Everybody got that one? Everybody got that? Yeah. Now, if that's still, you can adjust this, remember, at any time. It's not like the last time you're going to adjust it. Okay, now I'm going to go, I made the model for this. I will make a model that just show me this. I don't care about the parking lot. Make sense? Just the inside of the building. The easiest way to do this, gentlemen, is to right-click on that model that we just modified. Right-click on it. And do you see where it says duplicate view, duplicate with details? Everybody can see that? What this means, it says, hey, make me an identical view of that guy. Just make me an identical view, and I can modify it. Okay, everybody got that one? So let's go detail. Now we will make you an identical view, and it calls it copy, right?
Yep.
It looks identical, right? All right, before we do anything, let's go right click on it and rename that baby. I'm going to call this one, since we're under power, I'm going to call it first floor power. First FST floor power. And next to it, what was the E? What E is that?
4.
No, that was E4. This one E. Let's just say it was E7 here. Based on the E's that you give it to you, everybody knows the E's that draft the sheets, the drawings, guys, are given E for electrical, and then you number them sequentially. So this is E7. Where would I get these numbers from? When you start the plan, E1 through E14, it will be set for you. Okay, now, gentlemen, do I have, makes very sense, first floor power, E7. So that's power. Now, but I don't care about the parking lot for this one, so you come back here and zoom only on the building, gentlemen. Can you guys see that? Zoom only in the building. So I don't care about the parking lot. I'm already going to show it on a different view. So, and again, this is where you becomes kind of, you zoom a little bit. I don't like to cut through a door, so I zoom it a little bit to show the door here, maybe just slightly. I don't know how far I can go to. Well, I guess we have to just stay away just to show that door here. Okay, so that's all what I want to do. The bottom here too. So I'm just gonna go. Remember, we're outside. Just show the door opening here, and the same thing. So that's good enough. You can adjust this one at any time. Here you go, and there you go. So I'm showing the door opening, right? Now, gentlemen, this is your view that you're going to show all your power in. So when you're doing receptacle inside the building, guess which view you're going to be in? This view. When you go to the parking lot and you're going to show your transformers, guess which view you're going to be in? This view. So you're making the views. Why do we do it this way? Because you can control then what you can see in that view. Later on, you can turn things on and off based on the view. Views are like the sheets in Revit, guys. Oops, here's Revit CAD. Remember these layouts? These are, and we were turning the layers on and off. That's what a view is. So it allows you to control what each view is showing. So that's the view for site, and that's a view for power. Now, gentlemen, if I want to make a view for low voltage, later on you're going to find with me, we're going to do a view for, I call it low voltage, so you can put the phone and data outlets. They are going to be in the floor. So one more time, go right here, right? Duplicate with view, with detail. You will have an identical copy. I'm going to call this is, rename it. I'm going to call it first floor. Instead of first floor power, I'm going to call it first floor LV system. LV systems. So that will be my low voltage, and it's E. Let's go look at what E is that one. This is this is that one.
Duplicate with detailing.
This is my second floor, first floor, second floor. Okay, first floor system. This is E9. You know, depending on what the E that you guys have is, this is my E9. Gentlemen, you have another view where you're going to show only the low voltage. Phone and data and security on the walls. These are on the walls. Remember, these are the wall ones. So that's basically how you put the views. Now, how are we doing the time? I'm going to do one more thing. Now, we did the views, gentlemen. I'm just going to go to power, show you how easy that is. Go to power. Let's go to first floor power, shall we? First floor power. I'm going to go drop one receptacle, gentlemen. Drop a receptacle. Before you drop a receptacle, let's go zoom region. Are you in zoom region here? And I'm going to go zoom into this area, just that area. Can you guys see that area here? I'm going to zoom in this kitchen. And remember, we can clean these at all times. Just zoom into that kitchen or what do you call this? Lunchroom. Okay, I'm going to go grab a receptacle and drop it in the wall of this room, like we did for the CAD. So there's multiple ways. The easiest way, scroll all the way down to families. Remember the families they were hiding on us? Go all the way to the families. Electrical, remember here's electrical families. It was electrical fixtures. And okay, Chad, do you want a GFCI or do you want a regular one? Can you guys see? I scrolled all the way to the families down. Okay, let's go see. We're going to have a regular one. So drag and hold, and you are holding a receptacle in your hand. Can you guys see that? So the right click and drag. Do you see how you're dragging a receptacle in your hand? Can you see how nice? Remember how we used to, now this is a receptacle. Tell you which wall do you want to put it here? Do you want to put it here, here? You guys can see it's attached itself to a wall. One more time. So, okay, click on that one, drag it, and it's not rotating.
No, this rotates. I mean, I like how
It actually rotates for you.
rotates for you. AutoCAD, yeah.
Yes, yes. Can you guys see that? Now look at that. You can, the space bar, click on the space bar, and it will rotate that boy wherever you want to do it. Were you guys able to do that? Do me a favor, if you were able to, go right in this, just drop one. Well, one or three, it doesn't matter. Okay, and hit skip. When you're done, hit skip. Gentlemen, you have just clicked, you have just dropped the receptacle in this room. Were you guys all able to drop a receptacle?
No, I was trying to zoom in. The receptacles.
You're going to go all the way to the family.
That's all I mean.
Drag the bar. All the way to the families. That's better.
Like go to 45.
And go to electrical. There you go. Grab this. Stand there. Drag it. There you go. Now you're holding. Now let go.
This is fantastic.
And shoot. Try to touch a wall because there'll be no wall.
I don't understand.
What is this? Okay, now find the whole thing out. There you go. Now you're in. Now you drop.
This is exactly why we have so many job offers.
Yes, sir.
You can drop multiple ones at once.
You drop the GFCI. You pick that off the top row. That's all. There are two. Gentlemen, You have just dropped the receptacle in Revit. Now, if you want to drop 100 receptacles, how hard would that be? So, do me a favor. Next time we're going to meet, we're going to drop a light. We're going to circuit multiple receptacles on lights. And we are going to drop these views in a sheet like this and print them. Cool? So do me a favor. Before you go anything, go to File. Before we do anything, Save As. Everybody's there? File, Save As. Okay? Save at the top here. Go right here, File, Save As.
Yep.
And now I would like you to guys go Save as a project. And when you go there, call this is commercial project for the time being. Okay, before you do me a favor, before you hit save, and where are you going to save it? You're going to save it in that folder. Can you guys, are you in the same folder that I told you? Okay, now before you do anything, go options, click on options, and it doesn't allow me to make this a central file. Okay. Doesn't make me a central file. Regenerate. Okay. We don't care about the central file. So come over here and save it. Gentlemen, you have just saved yourself a project. So when we meet next time, you can open it anytime now. You can drop a couple of receptacles elsewhere. Make sure, and then we're going to circuit the receptacle, drop a light, circuit them, and drop them in a sheet and print them. Done. Thank you. All right.
You want to squeeze light fixtures?
Yeah, drop. You know where the light fixture. Drop a couple of receptacles. I'll do the fixture. You'll do the fixtures with me.
Just start putting them in rooms or something?
Yeah, receptacles in rooms, anywhere you want. Just doesn't matter now.
We really care about the space bar to make it rotate.
Yeah, the space bar. Yeah.
I'm on the road. I have it highlighted right.
Yeah. All right, so that's a good start.
These programs exactly what it has to do with Java. Because like, Revit is filling the whole conversation.
That's what you guys get a lot of jobs because of that.